I've never admitted this, but one of the main reasons in me creating this YouTube channel was to expose the small lies and the corruption that lies behind the majority of Muslim households. You're probably pretty familiar with this idea of having to dress up well to impress other people so they think you're rich, or acting different when your relatives come over, acting more educated. Oh yeah, Abdullah is so into his studies, he's studying every day, he's so passionate about this topic. Everything is just somehow about image one way or another. And truth doesn't really matter. It almost takes like this last spot on the list. By the way, this is exactly why we have so many online Muslims who literally go through each video and they try to comment, oh, what you're wearing is haram. Oh, what you said there is haram. But behind the scenes, they're doing the most messed up things you can possibly think of. Like, they don't follow the religion at all. Most of them don't even pray. You know what the craziest thing about this whole thing is? Everyone who's watching this video is thinking, oh, this probably doesn't apply to me. I'm so legit. Everybody else is fake, but I'm so real. You don't even realize it. Corruption is something that's like a virus, right? It's not something we realize right away. Because of the way we were raised, these things are like deeply rooted. If you think about it, you lie to yourself all the time. Whenever you're not good at something, you're like, oh, I'm actually good at it. It's just because, you know, these circumstances came up and it's actually, this is haram, so that's why I'm not gonna get rich. Actually, getting rich is actually stupid because it makes you a worse person. It's all lies. Most people don't realize the insane consequences of living a lie. One quick example of this is, if you ever read about USSR, the fall of the Soviet Union, basically the entire region, like this huge area, everything was built on lies. Because communism wasn't working, but everybody had to pretend like it was working. And lies just kept piling up on top of each other non-stop. And near the end of the Soviet Union, it was absolutely crazy. Like, there would be a plane crash, but then people would be like, well, planes can't crash in the Soviet Union, that's impossible. So you weren't allowed to say that plane crashed. Like, the people whose relatives died in that plane crash, if they went and said something about it, they would say, oh, this person's crazy. Take them to a mental psych ward. This is a global issue. Like, it's not just Muslims, to be fair. It happens with all immigrants. You've probably spent a majority of your life living a lie. And when you feel like a loser, you probably dress up rich. You try to drive a BMW to let other people know that you're a winner. But deep down, you know you're not a winner. You haven't done anything that's worth celebrating. You can literally be a loser, work at some restaurant for minimum wage, and you probably will still save up enough money to buy a BMW. And that's how most of these, gangster Muslims got their cars. They never done anything impressive, but they just want to look like they're doing something cool. But you know deep down, there are things that you should be doing. You want to join a martial arts gym. You want to get rich, but you're not gonna do it. And the reason you're not doing it is because you have these two conflicting truths. If you go and join martial arts, or if you start improving your life, it's going to conflict with this idea that you're already this amazing person. When you go into the gym and you get destroyed, you'll be like, oh, maybe I'm not the man. Maybe I can't fight. Maybe I am mentally weak. These are the hurdles that are keeping you from self-improving. Do you understand that? And the funny thing is, this is exactly why you're watching my channel. Like, if it's your first time watching, then it's a different story. But if you watch my channel, I don't say anything crazy. Like, I'm not really entertaining. Like, maybe a little bit. But I expose these lies that you've been avoiding for your whole life. And you would have never brought it up otherwise. Because the whole Muslim community will go against you, even your family. Like, some of these things I talk about when you watch my videos, they are really controversial. Like, these are things that are true, but nobody's gonna say them in the Muslim community. So this is why people watch my channel, and this is exactly the reason I make these videos. So people like you can stop lying to themselves and start self-improving. The biggest cope I hear is when people say, oh, I'm just gonna listen to my parents. Like, what you're saying is haram because Islam tells us to obey our parents. So I'm not going to change my opinion. I'm only going to do what I'm told. It doesn't say anywhere in Islam to obey your parents. You're literally just coping, bro. Do you think my family is happy with me making these videos? Look at the videos I make. Do you think they're happy with it? Sometimes you just have to do the things that you have to do as a man. Just think about this, right? There was a point in history where if you started following the basic principles of Islam, people will look at you like you're crazy. Like literally your family would disown you because you're following Islam. So if that is the case, what makes you think that everything is perfect now? What makes you think the ideas that our community is developing at the moment, or the ideas that your parents are enforcing on you, what makes you think that they are ideal? Like, I'm not saying they're wrong. Like, they still are a lot better than having no religion, obviously. Our whole purpose is to keep upgrading those ideas. Like, we have to bring it up to date and align it with the modern world. Because the ideas they have, of being a really traditional family, going to university and not getting married until you finish, until you're like 26, it's all outdated. Maybe it worked for them back in the day in the Muslim countries. But the world is changing very rapidly. Now, if you don't get married early on, it's so easy for you to fall into haram when you go to university. But they can't realize this. Do you understand? And you know this deep down. But we just keep denying it, and they keep denying it. We've literally normalized these cold-hearted, really uncharismatic men who just go to work, who don't show any feelings to their wife, and they don't show any affection to kids or anything like that. This has literally become a standard expectation for every Muslim man. But it doesn't really work like that anymore. If you start to behave like that, your future wife is going to leave you 100%. That's why the divorce rates are going like a rocket. They're skyrocketing right now. The new evolution of men are men who read books, who read, Dale Carnegie, who read The Way of the Superior Man, like these books that Hamza talks about. Books that actually help you, they teach you to love a woman, to take care of a family. When you combine that with like a real true masculine essence, that's what the new generation is supposed to look like. Trust me, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but if you follow these principles that we talk about on these videos, your life is going to be way better than any man in your previous lineage. Like, your relationship with your future woman is going to be better than your father's. When I say this, a lot of people are gonna start saying, oh, that's not gonna happen. Feminism, all Muslims are corrupt these days. That's not true, bruv. They just require a different sort of person to manage them. All women are always going to be susceptible to men's influence, but we need to start influencing them in the right way instead of just being a wholehearted figure. So an action step for this video, I want you to develop the skill of being 100% honest with yourself on paper or on your phone. It doesn't matter. Just try this a couple of times and you're going to become addicted. Just type for yourself, what am I most scared to admit about myself and about my life? Write it down and just, reflect on it. Make it a complete 100% no BS list of things that you don't want to do, things that you are fearful of, the things that you're embarrassed about, the stories from your past that you don't want to bring back up. I can almost promise you, when you get these things onto the paper, it almost feels like chains being broken from your body. Like, imagine you've been carrying weights like on your wrists your whole life and on your legs. So it's been kind of heavy, right? When you put those things on paper, literally like 10 seconds after, it's gonna feel like those weights just came off. You start walking better, you start breathing better, everything just becomes easier. Just give it a try. And come back to this video and tell me how you went.